Now, dude, Dari, keep in mind that the things I say are not abstract. When I say that 99% of my genius is in notebooks and things like that, that's not even true. For instance, half my music is in my head. I can't write it down. There's not enough hours in the day. I don't have that kind of time. I'm busy spending all my time on legal bullshit. I'm spending all my time lately trying to find a place to sleep at night. I have no consistent living situation. I have almost no options. I have almost nowhere I can stay. I can't leave the city and go somewhere cheaper because for 3 years, the government has illegally held me in New York City. If I leave, I lose thousands of dollars bail and my money and my friends' money and stuff. It's not going to happen. I can't do it. And besides, I own bad luck. I have since I was a little boy. Extraordinary superhuman bad luck and extraordinary superhuman good luck. I can tell you a zillion stories of my good luck that are unfathomable. And I can tell you 1,000% more. Well, I should say 90% more. No, is that right ratio? Maybe it would be 900%. More bad luck than any human in history. And that's part of my development. But there's a lot of nurture in me, but a lot of it's nature too. I was born skeptical, which is one of the reasons I'm the most important human being of all time. You can't trick me like everyone else tricks everyone else. I see the future always. Everything that happened to me, I predicted long before it happened. You'd be like, now this is what a stupid person would say. Well, then if you were smart and you could predict the future, you would have avoided it. See, that's what a lazy thinker would believe. A smart thinker would say, wait a minute, if Christopher's the most honest person of all time and has the most integrity and is the smartest, those two forces might cancel each other out. And they do. Example, I can think of tomorrow 50,000 ways for me to get a place to live tomorrow. I can think of 50,000 ways where I can get a mansion tomorrow to live in. But would those ways require me to compromise my integrity? Ding, 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 ding. Everyone says I'm a genius. They're like, why aren't you a rich musician? You're brilliant. Why aren't you a rich photographer? You're brilliant. Why aren't you a rich? It's like, one, I've run away from money my whole life because I know what money does. It really does ruin. Yes, it does some good, but it still ruins everything. Even when it does good, it still ruins everything. And my integrity has destroyed almost everything I do. Example, when we put out my book, Perverted Little Creep. Now, Tom had lots of money, the publisher. He fucked up a lot. But they were like, well, let's buy some ads. The book sells itself. It's funny stories from Rikers Island, trial diaries, transcripts of me and the mayor of New York City, Giuliani, arguing on live radio. Shit's funny. Cartoons, blah, blah. It's a pretty interesting book. And I was already famous in New York City. He was like, yeah, let's buy some ads. But then when we contacted like a Time Out New York, The Voice, they wanted like $1,500 for the tiniest ad. And I was like, in good conscience, I can't agree to that. I'd rather the book fail than agree to give those bloodsuckers that much money for such a little ad. That's my whole life story. You people don't realize this, but almost every success story in human history involves cheating and deception. Okay? No one ever becomes rich honestly. Steve Jobs cheated up a fucking storm. Bill Gates cheated like a motherfucker. Mike Bloomberg did nothing but cheat. You people still believe this myth they sell you, which is you work hard, you can be anything you want to be. That's retarded horseshit. But they can't tell you the truth because what happens if they tell you the truth? You're either going to give up, and they can't have that. They didn't have slaves who work hard. You need to believe, I'm going to work hard. Keep working, slave. Keep working because you're going to be climbing this ladder any day now. Don't worry, you're going to be up here with us in the executive offices. Yes, you are. Just keep working, slave. Retarded. Most people fall for that shit. Remember, they say like 95% of people born poor die poor. 95% of rich people die rich without doing any work. We all know lots of rich people who've never worked a day in their life, and they're rich. Come on, let's cut the crap. It's 2011. It's time to grow up, society. Now, it really bothers me. It kills me every day that I'm the most important person of all time because I can literally fix every problem in the world today. And people saw that. When I ran for mayor, people tried to stump me with all kinds of stuff. They read my platform. Conservatives read my platform. They went, holy fuck, your ideas are fucking, where have you been our whole life? Why hasn't anyone else figured this shit out? We have the top political thinkers in the world in New York City, and they can't figure shit out. You've seen it. Now you can say something like, well, Barack Obama can hire the best economist and he can't fix shit. Well, that's different because they don't really want to fix shit, okay? Keep that in mind. A lot of times they pretend they want to get shit done and they don't. So don't be tricked by that. Let me give you an example. I mean, because I'm a very comprehensive motherfucker. I'm the deepest thinker in human history. And again, that's not saying much. And right, I just found out in the last few months that Socrates was just like me. I'd always heard about this guy, Socrates. He's supposed to be real smart. Oh, he was a gadfly who pissed everybody off and always told the truth and pissed everybody off till they eventually fucking killed him or forced him to kill himself. Huh, sounds familiar. Why didn't anybody tell me about this sooner? Life is always a broken record. There have been many people like me in history throughout, but of course none of them were as committed as me. You know, you get a Mozart. Mozart just wanted to chase pussy. Well, I don't. I'm not interested in chasing girls. I want to make my art and music. And I should have sold out. I should have. I mean, I can admit it in some ways. Like I give John Lennon and people like that props. If I could go back and do it all again, I probably would throw my integrity out the window. Like even my pacifism. I've been assaulted over 5,000 times by over 3,000 people. No human in history can touch that. You can't find a human in history who was assaulted by 1,500 people. You can't. Try it. Ask for all your friends. Ask some of the biggest misfits you've ever met. Ask black people. Nobody. My pacifism from the age of 9 is what caused those 5,000 plus assaults. Well, it's probably now 7,000 assaults by this time. I've been throwing that number out for the last 10 years. Whatever. I'm so assaulted that one club had to create a rule no beating me up. I mean, it's outrageous. Everything about my life is outrageous. There's nothing about my life that isn't outrageous. It's fucking depressing. Oh, let's go back to another example of my childhood. When I was like 7, 8, stuff in elementary school, I never could tolerate bullshit. I just didn't have it in me. I couldn't go to big family gatherings and Thanksgiving holidays and be like, nice to meet you, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Mom says, just tell them nice to meet you. Can't do it. Unless I sincerely believe it, I'm not going to fucking say this crap. And so, pardon me while I belch. This is another thing about me that's stunning. When I was a little boy in elementary school, I didn't like egos. I didn't like people's fucking bullshit. I didn't like fucking power trips. I didn't like inequality. I've always treated everybody the same. You can ask people. I treat 10-year-old friends the same as I treat 70-year-old friends. I don't talk down to people unless it's you, dear diary. I have always treated people the same, whether they're homeless, rich, poor. I don't treat people differently. Never have. It's not in me. I couldn't do it if I wanted to. I meet rich people. I don't give a shit. Meet celebrities. I don't give a fuck. All right? First time I met Chloe Sevigny, I was in some bar. You want to hear my Chloe Sevigny pickup story? I was in a bar. We're in a part of a scene where Chloe hung out a lot, Chloe Sevigny. And I started having a crush on her. And so I was at this bar. I just grabbed $1 out. I didn't have anything to write on, so I grabbed $1 out of my pocket. And I had a pen. And I wrote a little note on the dollar that said, I can't vouch for this Harmony Korine guy who she was dating at the time, who was more successful than me. So he would win by default. But I said, if you ever want to go on a date or something like that, and I wrote all over the dollar bill. And then I just went up to her. She was surrounded by all of her friends. And I handed her the note. What was my point? Fuck, why did I bring that up? Not about unorthodox picking up girl techniques. What was that? I wish I could do that all the time. I love to do that shit. It doesn't matter whether the girl says yes or no. It makes the world more interesting. More people should pass notes to strangers. I mean, what the fuck, people? Get a little more adventurous. Holy shit, this world is fucking predictable. Doesn't that bother you? That tomorrow's going to be another boring day in a boring world? Why doesn't that bother everybody? I don't understand you humans. Fuck, I forget why I brought up the Chloe Sevigny thing. And I got to run and do a bunch of other stuff, so my brain's not really here. Sorry. When I got ego problems from teachers, we've all had those teachers who are like, do what I say because I said so. Done. You say that's a deal breaker. You say because you said so, deal breaker. You just lost all credibility, you fucking retard. You could surely come up with a better explanation than that. Why do we have to learn geometry? Tell me, you fucking asshole. But so whenever a teacher would give me attitude, also remember I've had long hair since I was 9, so I was counterculture unavoidably, whether I wanted to or not after the age of 9. Everyone looked at me like the little Charlie Manson. Even though I was a very good-looking little boy and all the girls hit on me. I ran away from the girls because girls are gross and icky. So what I would do, this is one of the many legends of Christopher Boudreau, when a teacher would give me shit in elementary school, what I would do, and I wasn't thinking about it, this was instinctual. There was no inspiration behind it or anything. I was just like, why am I sitting here taking this abuse from this fucking egotistical asshole? I would stand up, wouldn't say a word. I would stand up, take my stuff, and walk out. They'd be like, where do you think you're going? Because normally the teacher throws you out. I'm like, I don't need this. Bye. They'd be like, well, you can't just walk out. It's like, well, it sure looks like I can. I'd walk out of the room, walk down the hallway, walk out of the building, and walk home. I lived about a mile away. And it was great. I'd walk through the woods, and I spent so much time as a kid. I'd walk through the woods, sit down on a rock, and just ponder the retardation of humans. That's one reason why I'm the most important philosopher in human history and stuff like that. And why I'm the world's greatest sociologist. We could fix the human, trust me, I could fix the entire human race in under a week. I could get rid of all war, crime, and violence in under a week. It's not hard to do. Humans will do whatever everybody else does, no matter what. If everybody wants to protest greed in corporations, well, if everyone else is doing it at Occupy Wall Street, suddenly it becomes a trend. People will do any trend. You can get everyone to pierce their faces. You can get people to spend tens of thousands of dollars to tattoo their body, simply because everybody else is doing it. But you all weren't doing it when nobody else was doing it. The reason why we still have violence is because it's popular. It's a trend. That's a trend that's never going to die, violence. War is a trend that's never going to die. Humans will do what everybody else. If we start training all human beings to fucking put bananas up their nostrils every day, they will, and all kids will grow up to put bananas up their nostrils every day. That's how humans operate. They're not independent thinking creatures. They're not like cats. They're like dogs. Humans are herd mentality. They don't have a lot of independence. And that's one of my biggest complaints about the human race. I prefer cats to dogs. You dog lovers out there can eat the dog shit that your dog just pooped on the sidewalk. My cat's a little smarter than that. My cat knows where to shit. My cat doesn't have to fucking mark everything with his fucking piss. Okay? Fuck you. I don't have a cat. I'm being hypothetical here. But that's, looking back on it, that's fucking brilliant. A 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old who just stands up and walks out. How civilized. This is before I knew anything about history. You know, you got lots of people that are civil disobedience, stuff like that. I hadn't heard of any of that shit. And I just went and I did it repeatedly. I often had, whenever they gave me shit, I had to walk out. I can remember vividly a couple times the principal running out after me, saying, Christopher, you can't just walk out of school every time you feel put upon. I'm like, yes, I can, and I'm gonna. I'm not tolerating this bullshit. I also, in junior high, I did it, and I don't think I did as much in high school. I only did it a couple times in high school, and it became a huge stink, too. They really could do a million movies about my life. For instance, there were funny times in high school where there'd be an announcement on the intercom that all the students could hear, be like, Christopher Brodeur, we know you're still somewhere in the building, because I'd sneak into a room and just do art and draw and stuff. And by my own business. We know you're still in the building. Where are you? You'd seen all the other students would be like, you can't do that. Like, watch me. You can't do that. Or like when I was in elementary school and junior high, I was disparaging the entire education system in the 70s. I was saying, this education system is garbage. This has nothing to do with teaching us. And everyone was like, even the students who hated school were like, you're crazy. I may hate school, but I understand that school is legit. It's like, it's not legit. And then not until like the late 80s did our country and the rest of the world all accept that the American education system is garbage. And now the whole world agrees. The American education system is garbage. Little Christopher proved every adult wrong. Again. Boring. But let's try and wrap this. The problem is I'm never going to be able to convince probably people that I'm the most intelligent person of all time. Even after I'm gone, if they get every one of my notebooks and all of my zillion notes on all kinds of pieces of paper compiled here, in 20 different locations, they're still not going to get a 1% picture of me because I don't write down almost everything. I mean, almost anything. I can't. There's not enough hours in a day. I could, no joke, I could literally write 24 hours a day for 500 million years. Remember, you're talking to a guy who's been praying for writer's block for 20 years. I've been praying. By the age of 20, I had enough stuff to work on for the rest of my life. And each day I created more work that would take another 5 years to do. It's crazy. I mean, you can't just my classical music innovations will take the rest of my life. I mean, my classical innovations. There's no classical composer who's 1% touches me. Harry Partch is a fucking hack. Cage is a hack. Beethoven's a fucking super hack. I don't know of any classical composers who really impress me that much. I love Shostakovich. Debussy, love him. Debussy's got a few pieces that I'll never top. I concede that readily. Claire de Lune, I can't top that. It's perfect. In so many, it's beyond genius. It really is. That piece of music is going to sound futuristic 1,000 years from now. Brilliant. But a lot or most of Debussy's shit is shit. Whereas I don't generally do shit. I don't make music because I'm being commissioned. I gotta come up with something. I don't make music because this is what I do for a living. I gotta fucking throw some shit out. I don't. I have enough work to last 50 billion lifetimes. And you think I just exaggerated? You don't know what you're talking about. I think you'll agree. The human imagination is literally limitless. You could literally write songs for 700 trillion years because there's never going to be an end to subject matters. I can write a song. I'm looking at a red door right now. I can write, I see a red door and I want to paint it a darker shade of red. What, I could write songs. I could write songs about each item of food I like. If I want to write trivial songs, it's literally, there's no limit to the human imagination. So if I say I can work, my work's going to take 50 billion years, you're going to say that's retarded. That's not true. And now, I think, after you heard me make a good point about the limits of the human imagination, you go, shit, he might actually be true. You might actually be correct. You might actually be able to do work that will take 50 billion years. Now, remember, my problem is, as just a guitarist, if I was just a guitarist, and that's not even 1% of what I do, you couldn't do all my work in 500 years. And I'm not talking about work I want to do. Remember that. I'm leaving out the trillions of things I want to do. I'm only listing the things that I need to do because no one else will do them. People don't understand that. I don't do the things I do because I want to do them. I do them because my whole life I've been searching for things, right? I didn't start as a musician. I started as a music lover. And I would listen to music and I'd love it, but I'd always be like, Led Zeppelin's not doing that right. Pink Floyd's not doing that correctly. These people aren't doing that correctly. These people, even my favorite bands, be like, I love this, but that's not correct. That's not correct. That's not correct. That's not correct. Somebody should do it like this. And I looked and I looked and I looked in indie rock. I looked in jazz rock. I looked in fucking avant-garde. I looked everywhere. I came to New York City to go to the Knitting Factory, the world headquarters of experimental music and avant-garde and creative thinking. And I couldn't find one musician remotely in my league. And I was like, oh, fuck. That was a really heartbreaking moment when I realized, oh my God, if these guys are from all over the world, the Knitting Factory, the world headquarters of the most creative musicians, and none of them are remotely in my league, I'm fucked. I'm all alone. There's no hope for me. I'm never going to find a comrade, ever. I was hoping I could find some comrades. Somebody, there's got to be some people out there like me. Now in my fourth decade, there's no debating it. There's nobody like me. There's nobody like me in the history books. There's never going to be anybody like me. There couldn't be anybody like me because I am the most insane mixture of billions of different ingredients. It's like somebody winning the lottery 7,000 times in a row. It's not statistically possible. It is not humanly possible to win the lottery 70,000 times in a row or whatever. It is impossible to replicate me. It is impossible for another human being to ever be anything like me because I'm a mixture of too many bizarre forces, right? It's like diamonds, okay? Most things you crush for a million years aren't going to be diamonds. Shall I go on? I'm a little exhausted. I got a lot of shit to do. Pausing. This end of part 3. We don't know if there'll be a part 4. Keep your eyes open.